Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, bringing out the whiteboard, is going to talk about upper-lower splits. Someone was asking me to put together a tutorial on how to structure an upper-lower split, and I'm going to do that in this video. I'm also going to give you a new method of using upper-lower splits that you might not have thought about before. Excuse me. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. So we know the basic three types of workouts. We have the full body workout, which is basically 3 times a week with a day of rest in between each session. We have the bro split on the other end, which is working each muscle group about once a week. There are some bro splits where you work it every 6 days and every 5 days and so on and so forth. But a bro split is like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's low frequency. And you have the full body routine, which is high frequency. Now, in the middle, you have what we typically refer to as an upper-lower split. This can be worked 3 times a week. This can be worked 4 times a week. And basically, the concept is you're working the upper body, and then you're working the lower body. Then you're taking a rest day, working the upper body, working the lower body, taking a rest day. So depending on how you structure them, you can work each muscle group 1.5 times a week or 2 times a week. And I'm going to talk about the basic structure of this, and then I'm going to give you guys a couple of options. Now, typically, let's see if we can get this in on here. An upper-lower, and I'll just put UL, could be something like this. Monday, upper. Tuesday, lower. Wednesday, off. Thursday, upper. Friday, lower. And then the weekend off, you rest. That's one way to approach the upper-lower split. Now, one thing you can do as well, and this is something I recommend to a lot of my clients because they have real jobs or school demands, or their life isn't always stable enough or consistent enough for them to work out on the same day of the week. So one thing I recommend is a rotation where you have upper A, lower A, upper B, lower B. So you have 4 workouts. Upper A and upper B are 2 different types of workouts. So you might do bench press on upper A. You might focus on dumbbell bench press on upper B or whatever. So there are 2 different types of workouts. And you basically rotate between them as you can on a given week. So one week you might have 2 days. You might only be able to do upper A on Monday. And then life kicks your butt and you get back into the gym on Thursday. You do lower A. And then you're back in the gym on Friday again. And you do upper B. And then life kicks your butt and you don't get back into the gym until Tuesday. And then you do lower B or whatever. You get the point. So that's one way of doing an upper-lower split. Rotation. Rotation basically only commands that if you do back-to-back workouts, upper and lower, back-to-back on consecutive days, that you take the next day off. So on this type of rotation system, you could work out sometimes 2 days a week, which isn't frequency, but sometimes, we're adults, we struggle. If you're working out 3 days a week, that'd be 1.5 times a week, 4 days a week, each upper or lower 2 times a week. Now, let me just get this off here. We're going to talk about the conventional upper-lower split and the problems that it typically provides. Because on paper, it sounds like a very convenient way to break down a workout. Upper-lower, right? Upper body, lower body. The problem is most of what we do in the gym tends to be slanted towards upper body. On the upper body, we have the shoulders, we have the chest, we have the back, we have the biceps and triceps and traps and abs. So we have quite a few muscle groups that we're working on the upper body. On the lower body, we have quads, we have hamstrings, and we have calves, right? That's it. And some of us, like folks like me, have gifted calves, don't really need to work their calves. My calves, even though I've done some calf work over the years, my calves are the size of my arms and I really don't need to do direct work. So on the upper body, the problem is, again, you have three major muscle groups. You have chest, you have shoulders, you have back, and then you have your arms and traps and abs. Most people like to train abs a little bit during the week. Most people do train traps, so there's really none of these muscle groups that we leave out. So you have all those muscle groups on upper days, and it's harder to fit them in. And on lower days, basically it's just 2 lower body workouts a week. This is a typical problem that you run into when structuring an upper-lower split. When you're structuring an upper day on this type of day, we're just going to talk conventional upper. We have to consider the 3 major muscle groups. So because chest is a pushing or pressing type of movement, the chest basically is a horizontal press, okay? And the back is a horizontal pull or horizontal row. Shoulders are a vertical press, and you also have a vertical pull or row, which is the counter to the vertical press. So you have 4 movement patterns in the upper body, and it's good to balance them. We have to consider that when we're structuring an upper body workout. So to do so, we're going to start with a horizontal press, which is the bench press. Now, we're going to balance the bench press, the horizontal press, with a vertical or a horizontal pull or horizontal row. So let's just say we're going to do dumbbell rows. Doesn't really matter. This is just an example. Okay, this is our upper body workout. You're going to see the problem. Now we're going to do a vertical press. So we already did a barbell exercise here. So we're going to do, say, seated dumbbell overhead press. Okay? And to counter our vertical press, we're going to do a vertical pull. And hey, most of us suck at pull-ups. So for the sake of discussion, we're just going to put lat pull-downs, which is a vertical pull. So there you have it. We have 4 exercises already. And if each of them has 3 sets, and we work out upper body only twice a week, we're only getting in like 6 sets for bench press or 6 sets for chest. Back, you can see we're doing more work because we have to balance it out. We could potentially drop the back work to 2 and then do that twice a week. That might make more sense. What we're trying to do here is develop a way to train upper body without living in the gym on upper body day. But that's still not a lot of work for bench press. So we probably need to add in more work. We don't want to add in another compound movement. So let's just say we do push-ups. And we decide, because we like to do push-ups. I like to do push-ups. You can do whatever. You can do chest flies, dumbbell flies, cable crossovers. It doesn't really matter. This is just an example. So we have our 4 main exercises. Okay. Now we need more work on shoulders. So we decide we're going to do lateral raises for 2 sets. Okay. So where we stand right now is we have 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 total sets. We have 14 total sets. And we have a pretty good amount of volume. We have 5 sets for chest. If we do that twice a week, that'll end up being about 10 sets for chest. On an average, I like to get between 9 to 12, maybe upwards of 15 if you're really young and super good at recovering. 9 to 12 sets is a good range to be in per major muscle group per week. So if we do this twice a week, upper body work twice a week, we're going to have about 10 sets. Shoulders, we have 5 sets, so we get in about 10 sets for shoulders. And back, we have in 4. We got to work in deadlifts probably somewhere. So 4 times 2 is 8, and then we add in deadlifts. We're probably at like 11 or whatever. So this is okay. Deadlifts probably would fall on a lower body day, but it doesn't really matter. But here's the thing. Now we have to work in arm work. So we are going to put in, it doesn't really matter. We'll just do skull crushers. And we'll do those for 3 sets, and we'll do dumbbell curls for 3 sets. Okay? So you do that twice a week, you're going to have 6 sets for each bicep and tricep, and that's fine. We're up to 20 total sets, and we haven't even touched abs or traps. Now, herein lies the problem. We could stop there and that'd be okay. That's a lot of work on an upper body day, 20 sets. If we can move traps and abs to lower body day, that's fair enough. That's something you can do. You certainly can do that. What I'm basically trying to do in this video is give you guys some ways to think about programming upper lower splits and then give you an alternative. So you can see we're already stuffed. We're already stuffed with a lot of work. 20 sets is about the most I ever like to cap, the most I ever like to put in to a workout, a daily workout. That's a lot of work, especially if you're pushing them really, really hard. After this, you're probably going to have to move traps and deadlifts and abs on a lower body day, and that's fine. So on say this is your upper A, your next upper body workout, you probably want to start with shoulders. So I would probably start with military press 3 sets, and then you can do barbell rows for 2 or 3 sets. And then I do chest, maybe dumbbell bench press or incline dumbbell bench press for 3 sets. And then you want to maybe seated cable rows or whatever you want, a machine row, whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. And then for the next type of exercises for your chest, you could do, cable flies, you could do dumbbell flies. It doesn't really matter. For your other shoulder exercise, you could do machine shoulder press for a couple sets or something a little bit lighter. Face pulls, doesn't really matter if you want to get in some rear delt work. And for arms, do whatever other arm workout you want. Now we're going to wipe this away. And we're going to look at a typical lower body workout, assuming we move deadlifts to this day. And assuming we moved abs to our lower body workout, because honestly, deadlifts are a posterior chain movement. They work the same type of muscles that squats do. So it's reasonable to work them on lower body day. So we're going to look at a lower body, and I'm going to put lower A and lower B here. Okay. Lower A, lower B. And it's still a little wet here, so let me just make sure we can actually write on this sucker. So lower A and lower B. So we've established we're going to have to squat, we're going to have to deadlift. Squats, deads. Okay? We've already talked about doing traps and abs. If you want to do power shrugs, it would make a lot of sense to alternate because you probably don't want to do them on deadlift day. If you want to do traps, you could probably put shrugs in over here after squats. And abs will just stick at the bottom down here for both. You could do that, but here's the thing. It makes more sense to understand that you have to do an exercise very similar to deadlifts for the hamstrings, the Romanian deadlift. I like to do dumbbell Romanian deadlifts just because they feel more natural to me. You can do barbell, doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to put dumbbell RDLs, okay? Now, we got that balanced out. You got a deadlift type exercise on both. That's another reason it makes sense to add deadlifts on lower body day. Now, I like to do leg presses. I like to do a lot of quad work other than squats. For here, let's say you're doing like 3 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 6 for your squats. It doesn't matter. Here, you could either do like squats, 1 set by 20, if you really like the 20 rep set squats, or you could do a little bit lighter squats, 2 sets by 12, or you could do something really heavy like leg presses. I'm just going to stick the leg press in there. It doesn't really matter. Again, we're just giving an example of how to build. So we have the main exercises, the 4 main exercises, and then we have abs down here. Now, we need more quad work. This is not a back day, okay? We need more quad work in here. So just some exercises I like to do. Since this is a heavy quad exercise and this is a less intense, I'll probably stick leg extensions here. And then maybe body weight lunges here. I like doing high rep sets of body weight lunges. We also need some hamstring exercise. We need some more hamstring work. We got hamstring work there. You have indirect hamstring work there. So let's just count those both as a little bit of hamstring work. And we'll work in, say, leg curls here. And we'll do like, let's just say you have a glute ham raise or whatever else you want to do for your hamstrings. So we have 5 exercises, including abs. And let's just say 3. I don't like to overdo those because of deadlifts. Doesn't really matter. 3 sets, whatever. Let's just keep it round, put 3 sets in. So you have basically 12 and then 2 to 3 sets of abs. You have 14 to 15 sets on here. You maybe put in a little bit of trap work, nothing crazy. Whatever it is, dumbbell, barbell, shrugs. You still have room in here for calves if you want them. 2 to 3 sets. So that puts us 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20 sets max, 18 to 20 sets. You do have room for another quad exercise if you would like. Probably not needed, but that's how you would properly balance an upper-lower split, a conventional upper-lower split. Now, this is going to be a really long video, but I want to also break down how to do one of the upper-lower style splits that I focus on, that I've been teaching lately, and that is to do legs and back on one day and do the rest of the upper body on the other day. So let me wipe this down. And we'll talk about an alternative. And I hate to call this an upper-lower split because it's really more of an A-B type of split. It's still frequency training, right? But, I mean, back is upper body and legs are lower body. And if when you look at this and you see that we're doing squats and deadlifts on the same day, it makes a lot of sense to tag team back and legs on a split like this. So I'm not going to call this strict upper lower. I still do when I'm building the workouts because, we're so used to calling these workouts upper lower splits that it confuses people when we don't. So here's what we're going to do. We'll call it upper and lower will be legs and back. So upper body will be chest, shoulders, biceps and triceps, we'll just put arms. Lower will be back, legs. And we might have to fudge it around a little bit. You might have to move calves up here, mess around with things a little bit. But I'm going to build an upper lower, and it just allows you to not have to cram as many sets into each upper body workout. So we're going to look at this upper body workout, and we don't have back now. So we have chest, we have shoulders, and we have arms. That's basically the minimum we have to train. We can also toss in traps. We can also toss in abs. So let's just start. We have more flexibility. We can do more sets of bench press if we want. We can get a little bit more creative and do, it's easier to do like rest pause training or block training, or even fancy things like run the rack if you're in the mood for it, because you don't have as many exercises. But let's just say we might be able to start out with bench press for 4 sets, okay? We just want to do 4 sets of bench on this day. On the other, let me start over. I want to do a split like we just did here between the two. So we have A and B. A and B. We decided to do bench for 4 sets here, and we're going to do dumbbell bench for 3 sets there. We have a little bit more flexibility in how we structure this. On the B day, we want to do military press for 4 sets. And here, we decided we're going to do seated dumbbell OHPs for 3. So we have 7 sets already. We can go in and squeeze in our push-ups Maybe we want to do dips, favorite of a lot of people. So here we have 9 sets for shoulders and chest. That's about the minimum. You know, we can go 9 to 12. You can add in extra work if you want. I'm going to build up the minimum a little bit. Shoulder work, now you can add in face pulls. We'll just do 2 sets. And we'll do lateral raise, 2 sets. So you can see we have a little bit more flexibility in what we do with training chest and shoulders. We can get in a little bit more chest work. We can work in face pulls a little bit easier. We can, from here, we can add in our arm work. You know, we have dumbbell curls. We'll do biceps first on this day. And then here we'll do skull crushers. And then over here we might do cable triceps extensions. And over here we might do easy bar curls. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 17 sets on this day. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17 sets on this day. So we have 17 sets, a little bit less volume. As you can see, it's easier to get that in. And we have a little bit more flexibility because we're only doing 17 more sets. If we want to get a little bit more complicated, we can. Now, we can also add abs in on this day. We can also add in traps in on this day if we want. We have that flexibility. Now, we'll look at a lower body, what I call lower body, legs and back. And we'll see what we have to do with that. If we can get the sucker clean and dry, making it work. Okay, so again, what we're calling lower body is really back and legs. So we have lower A, lower B. So obviously we're going to start with squats, and we might decide to do 4 by 8 just because we're crazy like that. Now I like to do every minute on the minute deadlifts. Okay, we're going to do 8 by 3, 8 sets of 3 reps every minute on the minute. This allows us to get a little, have a little bit more fun with that. We're going to do dumbbell RDLs for 2, and then over here we're going to do leg press for 3. All right, we got our big hitters out of the way. I like to get the squats and deadlifts type of movement. I like to get the big quads, the big, powerful quads and posterior chain and deadlift and squat movements over with, and then we can move on to back work. So I'm going to do, because we did a barbell back exercise here, I'm going to put in barbell rows for 3 sets here and dumbbell rows for 3 sets here. Now we still need a vertical pull. So we're going to have to work in lat pull downs somewhere. And that's a pretty intense day. So I'm going to work in lat pull downs for 2 to 3 sets and seated cable rows for 2 to 3 sets. Now, if we look at our back work, we have deadlifts, we have barbell rows, we have seated cable rows, we have dumbbell rows, and we have lat pull downs. That's a pretty well-rounded back program. For legs, we have squats and leg press. And we also need to work in another quad exercise. So we're going to work in leg extensions, say for 3, and we might do hack squat machine over here for 3. So we have our quads covered. We have our back covered. All we really need to cover right now is hamstrings. So we worked hamstrings a little bit there. We could decide just to do 2 sets of leg curls and 2 sets of glute ham raise, if you can read my sloppiness. How many sets do we have so far? Okay. We have 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 16 to 17. Here we have, this kind of skews things. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's about this. It's going to be equivalent. even though that's every minute on the minute, you're only deadlifting for about 10 minutes. So let's just say it's about equivalent. It's about equivalent weight. So we have the upper body day, which was about 16 to 17 sets. We have the lower body or quad with leg and back day, which is about similar work. The only thing we haven't worked in yet are abs and traps and calves. And those are some lighter stuff. And you can toss those in basically how you want. It makes more sense to do traps here. You might just do 3 sets of traps here, and you might just do 3 sets of calves here. You can do 2 sets if you want, and then you can do abs on upper body day. So there you have it. I want to give you guys a complete way to, I want to give you guys a little bit of a primer on programming a basic upper-lower split, and then give you guys a variable or variation, how to train. This is a type of split I use a lot. It's basically the upper-lower with the lower body being legs and back. All these exercises are just an example, but it should give you a reasonable base for how to program your own upper-lower split. Major muscle groups are chest, shoulders, back, and quads. You want to get in 9 sets minimum for those each week. The minor muscle groups, biceps, triceps, traps, calves, abs, stuff like that, you probably want to get in about 6 sets a week for each. Things like traps, things like calves, things like abs, you can go as low as 4 sets. Some of us just don't like to train traps or abs. That's fine as well. All right, guys, if you have any questions, drop them down below. I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.